Challenge leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start in a new economy. All of your old characters and items are still present in the standard hardcore leagues, but you're encouraged to join new leagues. Yes. I don't think there's much to actually read here. We already know everything about Breach, more or less, by now. Yeah. Okay. Added 55 new unique items, 35 of which are exclusive. You want to zoom? It's too much. There you go. 55 new unique items, 35 of which are exclusive to Breach Challenge League. Added a new intelligence dexterity cast while channeling. While casting supported channeling skills, trigger another link spell at regular intervals with a small damage penalty. Yep. Available from Sharp and Cruel Quest in Cruel difficulty. Okay. Completing Eternal Night in normal difficulty. Same thing as always. Okay. And there's now a new channeling tag on relevant skill gems. Oh, that's kind of useful now as well. Added a new neutral skill gem. A Vile Breach creates a breach at your location, making you vulnerable to its powerful inhabitants. Righto. Valley is now guarded by the Fawn. Interesting. Very early areas in Act 1 have been cosmetically improved. Very early areas. That sounds pretty good then. Aliens have had their art replaced with a new model. Fancy. Didn't really change anything. New features. Many of 2.5's features, including the new renderer, were deployed early with 2.4.2. Thank you for testing and feedback. DirectX 9 renderer is still the default. You can change to DX11 renderer in the options. We'll make DX11 renderer the default once we're sure there are no remaining problems. Alright, so make sure you check it out when you have to. If you want to try DX11. Melee action targeting has been greatly improved. Thank fuck. Hope that actually feels good. The challenge and achievements panel now has progress bars for numeric challenges. Your overall challenge progress and challenge reward milestones are also shown. It's pretty convenient. Weapons now display their range on their item descriptions.
M'lady.
That's rather convenient as well. Adam the Fox, thanks for the sub. Improved early tutorials. Cool. Added support for the slash symbol and premium stash tab price fields. Various improvements to preloading have been made. Good. Essence changes. Added the contents of the Essence League to the core game. You can now find monsters trapped in essences throughout Rayclass, but at a lower rate when it was the current Challenge League. Maybe still actually find them every now and again though. If it's anything like original Ghosts were, it may as well not exist. The rate of finding multiple essences at once has been significantly increased in maps, especially higher maps, so that's pretty good. At level 47 areas and above, whispering essences can no longer appear. That's good. At 67 areas and above, muttering essences can no longer appear. So at a certain level, you'll get tier 3s at a minimum. That's pretty good. The values of mobs from wailing essences of woe and above have been reduced. Okay, we've already read pretty much all of this. This we have not actually. The actual values here. The glove mod from Essence Insanity now grants socketed gems have 16% more attack and cast speed, down from 20. It's not that much of a nerf, and then existing items will not be changed, so there's still legacy ones. That's really not that bad. You're still going to want to craft gloves with that shit, I think. The weapon mod from Essence of Horror now grants 16%. I think that's pretty useless still. And Delirium now does 750 chaos damage per second for 10, down from 1000. That's still really strong. There's no reason you're not going to use a Delirium weapon still. No doubt. Map mod changes. We looked at this the other day, and that's actually not too much there. General balance changes. Skill balance changes. Let's go into general balance. Increase the range of all melee weapons. This is also a significant buff to the radius of Cyclone. Oh man, that's fucking good. Cyclone, may actually be a good starter build now. Like honestly, instead of Blade Flurry even. Blade Flurry would just scale a bit better into the end, I'd say. In addition to the existing Forsaken Masters quality of life improvements made in 2.4.2, the experience progression of non-Zana Masters has been adjusted. It is now 30% easier to reach level 8 from 7. Damn, that's insane. 20% easier to reach level 7 and 10% easier to reach level 6. That's actually really good. Yeah, I like that. Sextant mod for additional currency items from Nemesis monsters is now only available on red maps. Nifty. Many monsters in endgame maps have been rebalanced, fixing cases where they did too little damage. Ah, man. That ain't good. Reduce the damage of the bosses in the Overgrown Road map and Chaos Warband leaders in general. That's pretty fucking good. Definitely wanted that. Increase the damage of the bosses in the Shipyard map and Lightning Warband's leaders in general. Seriously? They weren't that weak. That's a bit of an odd one. Official Kane, thanks for the sub, man. Welcome. Reduced monster pack density in the Twilight Strand slightly. This just in, guys. Twilight Strand was too dense with monsters. Can't say I noticed, but okay. Increase most totem damage. Totem additional physical damage reduction, totem attack and cast speed, skills and passive tree by 20 to 25%. Okay. This doesn't apply to totemic mastery. Fair enough. I guess they were kind of shit, so fair enough. Doubled all sources of totem elemental resistance in the passive skill tree. That's pretty good. Bleeding effects from non-puncture sources are now affected by the same additive and multiplicative duration modifiers as bleeding effects from puncture sources. What the fuck does that mean? From non-puncture sources are now affected by the same duration modifiers as bleeding effects from puncture sources. Is that good? I don't fucking know what that means. And poison from non-Viper Strike sources now affected by multiplicative skill effect duration modifiers. Additive skill effect duration modifiers were already being applied. Alright. Not sure I get what that is either. Unique item balance changes. Cosprey's Malice and Mjolnir now have 250 MS cooldown, triggering socketed skills up from 100 MS. I mean, that's still twice as good as cast on crit, is it not? So I don't think that's going to kill Cosprey's Malice at all. I'm pretty sure that's fine. Still twice the proc rates. But obviously enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it sounds like they buffed poison to me. I don't know. Whatever. Reduce block and spell block values in Rumi's concoction by around 33%. Ouch. Divine Orb can be used to reroll the stats within this range. Hey guys, use a Divine Orb in your Legacy Rumis to fucking nerf it. Why does it say that? Can be used. It should say, warning, do not use a Divine Orb. Facebreaker's critical strike multipliers have been reduced to 45%. Malagaras are once again your king gloves for that shit. It's pretty terrible. Okay. Grand Spectrum's increased elemental damage has been reduced to 4%. So from 5 to 4. It does make it significantly worse. 20% nerf. I think it's still probably OP though. If they hit, 1600% elemental damage before, they're now hitting 1200% elemental damage, right? Which is still huge. But fair enough, that's a nerf that needs to happen. Alar Dex now has additional property, 80 to 100% increased power charge duration. Sounds lame. Nira's Harp now has 40% increased effect of chilled ground. Yeah, it's not really going to change much. Soul Strike's fastest start of energy shield recharge has been reduced to 80%. A Divine Orb can be used. What is it right now? 150? Still probably worth wearing a fucking bow with +3 gems and all that for. I'm sure that's fine. Energy from within has been reduced to 3 to 6. It's not a big deal. I think that's still worth using. But yeah, a slight, bad luck CI builds, you've just lost 6% energy shield. We're now on par with life builds. All good. Blade Vortex has been refactored. Instead of separate hits for each active blade, the blades now increase the frequency at which all enemies in the radius take damage and the amount of damage they take. Skill now has a base hit frequency of 600 ms and has 10% increased hit rate per active blade. Its damage has been reduced by 30% at all levels, and it deals 30% more damage per active blade. Huh. Okay. So that's directly trying to fuck Pathfinders, huh? I'm okay with that. I think it'll still be viable. And not necessarily in the Pathfinder Infinite Flask meta. Not a big deal. Reduce the maximum number of summoned Raging Spirits to 20. Also increase damage as the gem levels up to compensate. It's tended to be a similar damage output, but with less casting needed and less effective area of effect. That's good, maybe? Don't know much about SRS for that though. Ancestral Warchief now does 10% less damage at all levels. Fixed behavior with the center of Slam being significantly further away than Totem's melee range. Skill now has plus 10 melee range at all levels, and the Slam will always be centered at melee range away from the Totem. Okay, so 10% less of infinite is still infinite, and it now has plus 10 melee range. Buff? Ancestral Warchief stronger than before? Can confirm. That's what I'm going to go ahead and say about that. Scorching Ray now deals 10% more damage at level 20, taper down to no change, and to gem at level 1. That's fine. That's exactly what I thought it needed, about a 10% buff. So, that's pretty brr. It's not too bad at all. Nothing at level 1 though. I don't know. It may have used, like, I don't see why it couldn't use 10% damage buff at level 1. That's fine. Anyway, Ray's Spectre now... Sorry. I started reading something about summoners. Decoy Totem can no longer evade and has a 4-second cooldown at all levels. 4-second cooldown? Huh. Whatever. Blade Flurry's more attack speed modifier has been reduced from 65 more to 60% more attack speed at all levels. Blade Flurry's targeting range has been reduced by 16.6%, and the damage radius of slash has been reduced by 14.2%. Okay. Seems fine. I don't think that's going to really ruin its damage output single target wise. Which is kind of the fucking problem, but okay. Enjoy your Blade Flurry characters, guys. We're still viable. It's just going to be a little harder to clear screens. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, yeah, you've reduced the attack speed modifier by a bit. Almost nothing. Let's just say. So now you've made it comparatively worse to area to Reeve, and it already was worse than Reeve, but it's still just as strong on single target, as far as I'm concerned. That's fine. Single target's amazing. I'll keep it. I'll use it. Blade Flurry MVP. Blight's damage has been increased by 5% damage at level 1 of the gem. Okay. Up to 35% more damage at level 20 of the gem. Dude, fuck off. Nothing about area. There's no area increases. It sucks because of area. I mean, okay, 35% damage is fine too. That's pretty substantial. The amount of stacks it takes, the duration it has to stay on there, and its area, all three of those things suck. So I don't know. Items and all of the minions now have 40% elemental resist and 20 chaos resistance. This also includes minions that didn't have resistances previously, like wolves. Huh. Okay, that's pretty good. Fire, Cold, and Lightning Golems now have 70 resistance to their respective element. That's not bad either. And Chaos Golem 60 resist to Chaos. That's pretty good too. Not going to change much, man. Fire Golem's damage has been increased by 200%. Sexy. Ice Golem damage by 75%. There's no way in hell he's going to do damage still. Lightning Golem by 75%. Probably the same. Flame Golem I think is the only one that can actually like viably attack. The rest kind of suck. Stone Golem damage has been increased by 100%. Its chance to taunt on slam has been lowered. Its melee attack range has been increased. No one cares. Chaos Golem damage increased. No one cares. Melee Skeleton from Summit. Anyway, some triggered skills can now find targets that are farther away than they could before. Reduce the damage penalty and range attack to match spell totem. Okay. People will use that, I assume. The Minion and Totem Elemental Resistance support gem now has multiplicative Minion and Totem Elemental stat on it, scaling from 10% to 19% more. Okay. Fair enough, that's actually kind of useful. If, you know, you can do these golem builds, supposedly. I'm just saying, I don't think the attacks that these guys do are good enough to actually build around, whereas Flame Golem has some pretty decent attacks. So that's fine. Trickster Ascendancy changes. Weave the Arcane now also reduces damage taken by 8% if you spent a total of 200 mana recently. How the fuck do you spend 200 mana recently if you're using free travel skills for a trickster? You have to be Essence Drain or some shit. Or Scorching Ray. Yeah, I don't know. Raider Ascendancy changes. Avatar of the Veil. Hold on. Let me pull this shit up. Okay. Looking at current Raider. Avatar of the Veil. Need to make sure I'm looking at this shit. Over here. Elemental damage has been increased to 40%. Okay, that's not too substantial. Avatar of the Chase's increased onslaught effect has been increased to 100%. 100% increased onslaught, that's pretty decent. Way of the Poacher now has a 20% chance to gain Frenzy Charge on kill or on hitting a rare or unique enemy. Oh shit. 20% chance to gain a Frenzy on hitting a unique enemy, so that's like exactly what we were asking for. Boss fight as fuck. Rapid Onslaught now has a 100% chance to gain Onslaught on kill. Rapid Assault. Gain Onslaught on kill? Shit. Perma Funkin' Onslaught, basically. Is it still 3 seconds? Quartz Infusion now has 100% gain. Phasing on kill, yep. And the minor Ascendancy skills leading up to Avatar of the Chase. Yep, now grant 20% increased onslaught duration instead of 5% attack speed. 40% increased onslaught duration. That's a pretty large amount of fucking onslaught. Rate of Blade Flurry, yeah, that's actually fairly fucking legit, guys. 10 frenzies, and you probably would go Avatar of the Chase, definitely. Like, I don't know if you've played Sextant maps with 100% increased effective onslaught, but it feels fucking good on just regular characters to have 100% increased onslaught effect. So yeah, that's fairly huge. And then pair it with all of Raider's nonsense that always happens with frenzies. That's rather ridiculous. Will it outweigh an assassin? Probably wouldn't outweigh it for damage, but for fucking farm? Jesus. You can do some serious farm playing a Raider. Like, the speeds a Raider is going to be able to get, getting up to here, and then wearing, let's say, Queen of the Forest and a shield, you're going to be running around at like 700% movement speed. That would be fairly absurd. Alrighty, Flask charge generation on critical strike. A character can now only receive 1 Flask charge per critical strike every 200 ms. This is shit across all flasks. Oh man, Surgeon's mod is so fucking dead. The Harvested Master Surgeon on now follow this rule. Instead of giving up a charge to each of your flasks, they will only grant it to one. What is even the point? You're never going to charge anything anymore. The Master Surgeon node now has 100% chance to trigger up from 15. Okay. I guess that's a little better. That's not like a good enough amount of sustain though. It's just kind of going to be junk. Zana League mods. Nemesis at level 8, sick. Onslaught, so Bloodlines is really good at level 3. Beyond, really good at level 4. Warbands, that's going to be kind of cool. Ambush, Parandus, Nemesis, yeah, good shit. One-time passive skill reset. We get a reset, and that's business as usual. Blade Flurry now uses the average of both main and offhand attacks if using 2 valid weapons. Uses the average of both main and offhand using 2 valid weapons. Oh, okay. I guess that's fine. Fixed the bug where temporal chains didn't affect Blight. Wow. That was garbage, man. No sign buff? Yeah, that's kinda gross. Maybe there's a really big one coming in Act 5. Who knows? Okay, yeah, that's more or less all we need. So yeah, Raiders, boys. It's gonna be actually really fun to play now. Raid was already pretty fun, but boss fights did suck because you couldn't keep up your frenzies that well. You can keep up your frenzies infinitely, and Onslaught node is really good. It's actually gonna be pretty fucking fun. Good shit. Good shit. Did I have a sub? I missed out on Young Cow Bob. Thanks for the sub, man. Dream Feather ST touched? I want to play it next week. You probably want to play it as a raider now, to be honest. It's probably more beneficial than Pathfinder at this stage. If you can charge up frenzies like that non-stop, that's a huge more multiplier to all of our damage. And then you'll actually get frenzies from the passive tree. So you probably run like 7 frenzy charge. 7 frenzy charge Dream Feather now, which is, 30% more damage. And some good attack speed. And then Onslaught's going to be really nice too. Would a Reave Raider work well? It'd work well enough, sure. Someone say Cyclone meta? They may have. Dude, a Cyclone Raider could actually be insane with all the attack speeds, movement speeds you get now. And the weapon range buffs. That is pretty nuts. Barrage Raider. Okay, look guys, everything Raider. You can play everything Raider. I don't think it's going to be, the no-brainer decision, but it will be strong.